8, 9, 10. Hey guys, Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I'm going to show you guys out there over 50 how to build big arms. Alright, so we're over 50 years old. Everybody wants big arms, me included. I'll promise I'm no different. And the first thing we got to do, because we just don't have the advantage of all those 20-year-old guys anymore, all right? Our bodies just don't respond as well. Our hormones, our testosterone, things don't repair as quick as they used to. We can't push ourselves as hard as we used to. All right, so we got to be smarter, all right? We're older, but we should be smarter. And that's why I'm here, is to help give you some of these tricks. So today's video is not really going to be about the exercises per se. This video is more about the strategy, the 30,000-foot view of what you should be doing to build big arms, okay? From kind of a mentality perspective. How do you want to go about your exercises? So I'm going to show you a few exercises, but really I just want to tell you about the strategy different men should use depending on whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced weightlifter, okay? And it kind of depends on where you are, okay, in your fitness journey. All right, so the very first thing is, guys, you have to realize that big arms is not just your bicep, all right? So this part, the tricep down here, is actually a bigger percentage of your overall arm than your bicep. So that means by being smart, you can't neglect the back of your arms. Your triceps are really, really important. And I get it, they're not as fun to work, okay? Biceps are just more showy, okay? I'm not really sure why. I think it's partly because you can actually, you know, flex your bicep, all right, like that, okay? Now tricep, I mean, you can kind of do it, but it's just not as showy. I don't know, it just doesn't work. The mind-muscle connection with your triceps just really isn't as good as it is with your bicep for some reason. So most guys make the mistake of just focusing on the front part of their arm, just their biceps. And guess what? So you're hitting, I don't know, you know, 1/3 of the overall muscle mass in your arm and neglecting the other 2/3. So that's the first big picture thing I want you guys to take out of this video, okay? So it's not, remember, I'm not gonna focus a ton on the different exercises because there are lots of different tricep exercises and lots of different bicep exercises, and I've shot lots of videos, okay, on those exercises. So go back and go through our YouTube channel, just use that little search, you know, at the very top, there's a little search bar up there, and you can type in arms or biceps or triceps, whatever. All right, this is a slightly different perspective. All right. Now, let's move on to topic number 2. It depends on whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced weightlifter, okay? And so, beginners, you guys have got to take a different mentality about building arms, at least for the first few months, okay? Otherwise, you will kill yourself. You'll probably injure yourself if you follow my advice for the advanced guys. And you might be a little surprised about what I'm going to say here. So beginners, all right, your muscles just aren't ready to be pushed extremely hard yet, all right? And it's not just your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments, your joints, okay, ain't ready for it. So if you're a beginner out there, I want you to select weights or resistance bands, okay, that is only moderately difficult to do 15 reps, all right? So I'm gonna do some tricep push-downs with these bands, okay? And this is kind of, I'm just gonna kind of play act, okay? But this is how I want you to feel like the strain is on your body. So, you know, you're doing your little tricep push-downs here, all right? And let's just pretend like that's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, okay? So I want you to feel like, okay, I got a good pump there, and that was difficult to get to 15, but man, if I really had to, I could do another 5 reps. I could have done 20. So that is the mentality for beginners out there on how to select the correct resistance. Same thing goes with dumbbells when you're doing curls, okay? So I want you to do 15 reps, but I get this asked all the time. Facebook, email, Mark, how much weight should I use? Well, it depends. How big and strong are you? Are you a beginner? Are you advanced, all right? But for beginners, all right, guys whose muscles just aren't ready to be pushed real hard because you're gonna get incredibly sore and possibly injured, I want you to pick a weight, a dumbbell weight, all right? So I'm just gonna be doing 2 arm curls here, and I'm not gonna do 15, I'm gonna pretend like I'm doing 15, so I would be at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, all right, one more now, come on, 15, all right. How hard did that look right there? All right, am I a good actor? So that should have looked, if you're a beginner, all right, like, all right, I was starting to feel it. I'm getting the pump. I can feel the blood flowing into my muscles. I can feel my arm getting bigger. And I had to exert effort, but I didn't kill it. I didn't kill myself to get to that 15th rep. If I needed to, if there was a guy with a gun to my head, I could have knocked out at least another 5 reps. I could have made it to 20. That's how you select a weight if you're a beginner, and I want you doing 15 reps. And the reason 15 is because it forces you to pick a light enough weight that you're not going to hurt yourself. All right, and that light weight with those relatively high number of reps means that you're really going to give your body time to warm up and build up, okay, to a much heavier resistance 2-3 months down the road, okay? All right, now let's go on to intermediate guys, all right? So these are guys that have been working out 2 or 3 months, or maybe you've been working out on and off your whole life and you've just kind of laid off a year, okay? But even if you've laid off a year, that's way too long. Don't just jump in, okay, and then start killing yourself. I promise you will regret it, okay? If I miss just a week or 2 of working out, I start back with a much lighter weight. I don't even come close to failure. I don't push myself very hard for 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks. All right, so I really, I've been doing this a long time, and even I take a long time to get back into the swing of things if I miss just 2 or 3 weeks. All right, so for intermediate guys, let's get back on topic here. I want you to pick a weight, all right, and you're only gonna do it for 8 to 12 reps. So I want it to be pretty damn difficult to get to that 8th to 12th rep. So when you're doing tricep pushdowns, we're gonna do this again, all right? So I want you getting to the point where you're like doing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now I could have done a couple more if there was a guy holding a gun to my head, right? I'm just playing here, all right? I'm make-believing acting. So you're gonna be picking a higher resistance band or a heavier dumbbell, all right? Because I want you guys to get into that hunting hole, 8 to 12 reps, where tons of studies say that is the best rep range to actually build muscle, hypertrophy, okay? So 15 reps, guys, for you beginner guys, that still builds muscle, trust me. But 8 to 12 means you're using a heavier weight, which means you're recruiting more muscle fibers, a higher percentage of your muscle fibers, okay, when you're only doing 8 to 12 reps because, again, it's a much heavier weight. And this time, I want you to be pretty darn tired when you get to that, 8th to 12th rep. I want you getting, not at failure, all right? I don't want it to be absolute failure, but I want you to be within 1 or 2 reps of failure. All right, now let's move on to the advanced guys. You're not gonna like this, all right? And this is what I'm doing now, and I should have done this years ago. And that is, we are gonna be doing high reps, which means 20 reps. And if you haven't done that before, you're gonna thank me, and then you're also gonna send me some hate mail. All right, and the reason is to do 20 reps, and I mean 20 to to failure. That means when you get to that 18th, 19th, 20 rep, you are absolutely miserable in pain. You will not be able to do any more. Okay, if there was a guy with a gun holding it to my head, I wouldn't be able to knock out 22 reps. I'm just barely able to get to 20. That's how you pick the correct weight or resistance band. Now, what's going on with these high rep counts and lightweight for advanced guys? That kind of sounds backwards, doesn't it? Well, what we're doing is you're putting excessive stress on the muscle fibers because you're doing so many reps. You got a ton of time under tension. You probably heard me talk about that before. And what happens is you build up a lot of lactic acid when you have your muscle under tension that long. 8 to 12 reps with a heavy weight, I can do that all day long. Yeah, the last 2 or 3 reps hurt because the last 2 or 3 reps, I'm building up a lot of lactic acid. That's where the pain is. But boom, that's only 2 or 3 reps in pain. Put the weight down, I can rest. When you're doing 20 reps, it's the last 7 or 8 reps that feel miserable and painful, and that lactic acid really starts building up at around the 12th to 13th rep, okay? And so it's hard to get to that 20th rep if you're using enough weight. Now, if you pick an ultra baby weight and you get to 20, all right, and you put it down and you're kind of looking around, all right, and you're not in pain, then you need to up the weight. Now, I just got back from the gym doing a 20 rep, workout. And that's on every single set, every muscle group this week, next week, the week after. I'm gonna do it for 6 to 8 weeks. And just to let you guys know, I wish we had videotaped this at the gym so you could see me. I was doing a back day and I was doing lat pull downs, okay, on the cable machine. And let me tell you, when I got to that 20th rep, I let go. I stood up and let go, and I mean, it took, I wanted to scream out loud. My lats were hurting so bad, okay? So for 5 or 6 seconds after I quit, I was bent over in extreme pain, all right? And I know this doesn't sound fun, guys, all right? But if you want to push yourself over that plateau and keep building, this is the kind of stuff you got to do, all right? So beginners, 15 reps, modest amount of effort to get to that 15th rep. Intermediates, I want you to do 8 to 12 reps. Now, a lot more than modest effort. I want you to put forth a lot of effort to get to that 8th to 12th rep, okay? You're near failure, not quite. And then, as advanced guys, trust me, and don't do this year round, okay? Only 6 to 8 weeks. 20 reps, lightweight, and you need to pick a weight or resistance or cable, okay? That is so difficult that by the time you get to that 20th rep, you're about to scream. It is so painful. So the next piece of advice on how to build big arms is, and this is from a high level perspective, how many times a week should you work out your arms? All right, well, once again, that depends. Depends on whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. All right, so for you beginners, you're not pushing yourself real hard, right? All right, you're not doing tons and tons of sets either, okay? You're getting a good pump, you're feeling it, you're getting that mind-muscle connection going, but you're not killing yourself. Otherwise, you'll hurt yourself and you'll be so sore, you'll never want to work out again. So for you beginners out there, you can do it 2 times a week, all right? Give yourself at least 3 days in between, all right? So your muscles, we're tearing those muscle fibers down when we're working out, but because you're doing a light workout, because you're a beginner, you're not tearing those muscles down very much, right? All right, it's just a small amount, so they can heal pretty quickly. So that's why you can do them twice a week. Now, intermediate guys, you're lifting heavier weights. You're getting close to failure on every set. You're doing 8 to 12 reps. Now, you guys are gonna have to listen to your body. You can do them twice a week like the beginners, or you can do them once a week. Now, part of this is gonna depend on how you design your arm workout. And I mean by how many sets. Now, if you're killing yourself as far as the volume is concerned, I'm not talking about the number of reps and the amount of weight, not the intensity level, but let's say you do 10 sets of triceps and 10 sets of biceps, or 12 and 12. That's a pretty high volume day. So you guys need to listen to your body. You might need a full week rest before you hit your arms again. But let's say You don't have time for that. And you can only do, say, 5 or 6 sets of biceps and 5 or 6 sets of triceps. Now that's not a very high volume day. Now you can do it again later that week. Give yourself a few days rest. You can hit them again with a relatively modest volume, 6 and 6 as far as the number of sets of triceps and biceps. So it kind of depends on how you're designing your workout. And once again, this video is not about designing a workout per se. I just want you guys to understand some basic concepts, because everybody's different. I mean, we got tens of thousands, hell, we got more than that watching these videos all over the world. So you guys that are watching, or some of you guys are advanced, some guys haven't worked out in years or ever, all right? Now, for advanced guys, all right, so this would be me, and I've experimented with this over the years. I just have to listen to my body, basically, and figure it out. But when I do an arm workout, I'm now, with this new 20 rep set, I'm hitting my arms so hard, and I'm tearing down the muscle fibers so much, and I'm in so much pain on arm day that I need a full week to rest and recover. I'm 58 years old. Now, if I was 28 years old, I could probably get away with hitting arms crazy hard twice a week, okay? Because your body just recovers so much faster when you're young. Everybody knows that. But I've tried that before, all right? And not just with arms. I'm talking about with chest, with legs, with back, all kinds of different things. And I just started to feel run down after a few weeks of doing this, and I didn't feel like I was progressing. I felt like I was actually getting weaker. So for you guys that are a little older like me, but you're advanced and you are killing yourself, okay, in the gym, and this is just arm, this is an arm video, and you're blasting those triceps until they are on fire, 20 reps, oh my God, and you're waiting a couple of minutes before you do the next set, and you're doing lots of sets of tris, and you're doing lots of sets of biceps, and you're just walking out of the gym with this giant, huge pump. You guys are probably gonna need a full week of rest like I do. So that is the mentality for how often you should hit your arms, based on your fitness level, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and also our age. All right, remember we're old, so we gotta be smart and clever and tricky and witty on how to build big arms. All right, this fourth one, you guys are not gonna like it, but I promise it works. If you want big arms, you gotta do squats. Gotta do your legs, guys, and I don't mean literally just squats. I mean, you can't skip leg day. All right, our legs are our biggest muscle group in our body by a long shot, all right? And when you hit your legs hard and on a regular basis, you're really triggering responses in your hormonal system, all right? It's telling your body it needs to ramp up its production of testosterone and growth hormone. There's several different things going on there, lots of different hormones. And all those hormones increase much more so when you do legs hard than when you do arms hard. Now, arms are a small muscle group, so no matter how hard you hit them, you're not going to see nearly the response in our hormone levels as you would when you're doing legs. So, you want big arms, you need to do legs. All right, now another one here, guys, is the mind-muscle connection. I've talked about this in tons of different videos, but I just got to harp on it. So, I see people doing, and it's not just arms, this is most muscle groups, but arms is probably the easiest muscle group to work and watch yourself doing it. And that helps me with my mind-muscle connection, helps me focus. So let's say I'm doing some triceps, all right? And this is how I see people doing it wrong, all right? They're just, they're kind of looking around. There's like, oh, there's a good looking girl over there. They're just kind of looking down, looking up. I wonder what I'm gonna have for lunch this afternoon, okay? And there's no mind-muscle connection there, zero, okay? So, I know if you're at home, you don't have this luxury, a mirror. But if you're at a gym or in my garage here, I've installed a couple of big mirrors, all right? So, this is how I want you to do it if you can. So, when I'm doing these tricep pushdowns, I can look over and I'm checking my form. Okay, I'm keeping my elbows nice and still, but I can also look at my triceps, all right? And then I can look straight ahead, and I like to just stare at something, or I pick a spot straight in front of me on the floor, on the wall, whatever, And even though I'm staring at it, I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking about my triceps right now. I mean, it's all concentration on the muscle that I'm working, all right? Now, it's kind of a vague concept, I understand, all right? But I promise you'll get better at it, all right, if you practice it. Because if you're thinking about what's going on at work or the kids or whatever while you're doing, it ain't gonna work. You're not gonna get nearly as much out of it. Matter of fact, I see guys at the gym on the leg press machine, they're sitting down and they're pushing the sled with their leg and they're on their phone answering text messages. So they're getting zero benefit out of that. So mind-muscle connection really is important. Same thing when you're doing curls. You may not have a mirror to look at, okay, to check your form, but you can literally just stare, you know, at your bicep, all right? And all I'm doing is my brain is just focusing on this. Everything else is gone, all right? I'm not worried about anything else because if you're picking a weight and you're putting enough effort into it, you're not going to be able to, you can't think about anything else and get to that 15th or that 20th rep. I mean, it requires all your attention and focus. So there are some bodybuilders, and I'm not a bodybuilder, all right? When I say bodybuilders, I'm talking about big guys that compete. They're on the stage, they're doing tons of steroids, they're too big, really, all right? But a lot of those guys, when they work out, they will pick a surprisingly light weight, maybe less than what I'm using. I'm 58 and these guys are in their 20s, all right? But let me tell you, they're just doing this. I mean, they're incredibly focused on whatever muscle they're working, and they're using exceptionally good form. They're doing lots of reps, and they're doing tons of sets, lots of volume. And of course, they're so big, they don't have to show off, or they don't have to pick a heavy weight to try to impress other people. They're past that stage, all right? So anyway, the mind-muscle connection is really critical for the pros, the professional bodybuilders, which means it should be just as important for us guys, us amateurs. And finally, this last one's a little easier, guys. It doesn't require any concentration, no mind-muscle connection, no pain, protein. All right, guys? So nutrition is really important. If you're kicking ass in the gym and really pushing yourself, why not get the most possible out of your workouts? And that means you gotta get enough protein on a day in, day out basis. So if you're not eating right, and I'm not talking about losing fat now, I'm talking about building muscle. If you're not getting enough protein in your diet every day, then you may only be getting 70% out of your workouts. I mean, why not get 100%, the most possible? And all you gotta do is ingest more protein. So how much is that? All right, well, a good rule of thumb is 1 gram of protein for every pound of body weight. But you don't need any more than that. So that's kind of at the high end of your protein. So I weigh 193 pounds, which means I need roughly 193 grams of protein every day. Now, on the low end is probably 7/10 of a gram. So you could take 70% of 193 grams, and that would give me my minimum amount of protein, which is probably, I don't know, what, about 140 grams. So as long as I'm getting 70% of a gram of protein for each pound of body weight, I'm doing good. So that you guys don't have to kill yourself when it comes to getting 1 gram per pound. That's for the more serious bodybuilders, the guys that are really pushing themselves and killing themselves. Most of you guys only need about 7/10 of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And then finally, guys, big arms are really fun. I get it, but it ain't gonna happen overnight, which means you gotta stick with it and never give up on yourself.